I'm gonna advocate for shame today. And we're doing that by shaming Blake Lively. I love to see people call out tone-deaf celebrities for their tone-deaf behavior. But it does feel like we are creating more and more exceptions to otherwise immoral behavior sometimes. Emotions are, according to the Oxford Dictionary, a natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others, and also instinctive or intuitive feeling as distinguished from reasoning or knowledge. Emotions are not objectively good or bad. They are just natural responses to the environment that guide our perceptions and behavior. Darwin showed evidence in his studies that emotional expressions are recognizable across cultures and appear spontaneously in children. He argued that these feelings were adaptive and served a purpose in evolution. For instance, fear may have prevented our ancestors from doing dangerous things that could get them killed. And so with time and thousands of years, fear was naturally selected, and here we are, scared of answering the phone. Sadness, fear, love, hate, guilt, and shame are all very important to humans and society and community. Shame in particular is very useful. It has a bad reputation. Most of the things you find on shame are about its detrimental effects, but I'm gonna advocate for shame today. Although too much of any emotion can be real bad for you, in essence, shame helps us decide what is acceptable and what is not in our community. Take this drama going behind the scenes of the movie It Ends With Us, for example, between the actress and producer Blake Lively and the director Justin Baldoni. I haven't read the book that the movie was based on, but it seems like it's about, or it touches on, domestic violence, which is a very sensitive topic. And in the press tour, we can see clips of Justin Baldoni talking very carefully about it and very thoughtfully.
What comes to mind isn't so much about the work that went into it, but about the why behind it. If a Lily Bloom in real life can sit in this theater and maybe make a different choice for herself than was made for her, maybe she sees herself on that screen and chooses something different for herself. That's why I made the movie.
This is your night, mister.
No, this isn't my night. This is a night for all the women who we made this movie for.
Hope. And that everybody has the ability to end a cycle that they didn't ask for. We can all say it ends with us in our life.
And Blake Lively, on the other hand, being a little bit superficial and dismissing the whole thing altogether.
What's your childhood dream?
To wear Britney Spears' Versace dress.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
Just love that she was just like an amalgamation of contradictions, yet it made perfect sense for her. So she's incredibly strong and self-assured and knows who she is, yet she's vulnerable and she's tender and she gets lost. I love that she was, masculine and feminine. I love that she liked old things and then new shiny things, that she was very utility and practical, but sort of over the top and glamorous in other moments.
Now, it's very difficult to say who's right or who's wrong without reading the book and knowing how much of an emphasis there is in this theme. Hello? I'm at 124, but I can open for you.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah. So I don't know how much of an emphasis there is, how much of an emphasis the author, Colleen Hoover, put on the theme, the domestic violence, domestic abuse theme. It may have been just a little tiny bit of the story. And I certainly understand how Hollywood can over-politicize things. But regardless, suffice to say, from the clips we're seeing, Blake Lively is seeming a little bit too dismissive and not caring, especially in contrast with Justin Baldoni. And it doesn't help that it appears that they don't like each other. They're not doing press tour together. Seems that there has been creative differences in the making of the movie. We don't know exactly what's going on, but all of this to say, from the internet's reaction to Blake's behavior, we are deciding as a society that domestic violence, domestic abuse, is not to be taken lightly. And we're doing that by shaming Blake Lively. I love to see people call out tone-deaf celebrities for their tone-deaf behavior, because I think we as a society have allowed too much unhinged and shameless behavior from famous people, which, whether we like it or not, they influence the rest of our behaviors. So it's good that we call them out when they are wrong or just simply insensitive and tone deaf. What is shame? Again, the Oxford Dictionary defines it as a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. How is that useful to our ancestors? Living in small, highly interdependent communities, everyone had to show themselves as a productive, trustworthy member of those communities. Otherwise, why should we protect you if you're gonna throw us all to the wolves? So the anticipation of being considered a bad person would make someone walk the line and behave in an acceptable manner, like not stealing food or water that was meant for everyone, for example. There's an extensive scientific research on the evolutionary reason for shame, and I'm linking the results down below because they're just fascinating. But, to prove that shame is indeed an evolutionary trait, the researchers had to test their hypothesis cross-culturally, which they did. The research team collected data from 15 traditional small-scale societies in 4 continents. I'm going to quote the article. These findings suggest that shame is a biological capacity that is part of human nature, such as the ability to speak a language, and not a cultural invention present only in some populations, such as the ability to read or write. Shame's reputation isn't pretty, but a closer look indicates that this emotion is elegantly engineered to deter harmful choices and make the best of a bad situation. The article is linked down below if you're interested. Again, fascinating. So what can we learn from all of this? I think that the more a culture is clear about what is right and what is not right, the lesser the stress and confusion. And the more a culture can be considered tight and cohesive. You know exactly what is expected of you and the cost of not corresponding to these expectations. And then you can make your own choices based on your assessment of, will this thing that I really want to do be worth the social devaluation that may result from it? If it's worth it, we go ahead and do it. If it's not, we maybe don't do it. An example, I think we can all agree that killing someone is wrong. To live in a community and roam free, you need to not be a killer. That's the bare minimum. We may accept killing in self-defense, which is absolutely fair, but otherwise, we ideally lock up the people capable of doing such thing. Another example, domestic violence. Not too long ago, in the 20th century, it was not even a crime in America and many other places. We came a long way since those days, and now we all agree that it's not acceptable and that it can be perpetrated not only by men, and that is wrong. And we should not accept any form of violence in any form of relationship whatsoever. We even created criminal codes around the actions that could jeopardize civilization. But there are things that are much more nuanced and difficult to reach a consensus on. And I'm no anthropologist, but it does feel like we are creating more and more exceptions to otherwise immoral behavior sometimes. And by doing that, we allow some crazy shit to happen and some shameless people to go about their days never being called out for their wrongdoings. And I don't know to what extent does social media plays a role in this. Everyone is shameless behind a screen, you know? We do things, we say things that we wouldn't otherwise say in a face-to-face conversation. But here we are. Now, the individual level, what's in it for you, for us? A lot of people will tell us to dismiss the feeling of shame altogether, which is valid for what therapists call toxic shame or unreasonable guilt. For instance, feeling shame over your car or your home because they aren't as fancy as you would like them to be. That's totally unjustified. No shame in there. Unless your car is like full of garbage and you don't clean it, or same thing goes to your house or whatever. I mean, like under normal circumstances, there's no reason to feel shame about your possessions. It's the best you could do. It's okay, you know, it's what you could afford. Sometimes we live below our means, and that's actually awesome. It's good to live below your means. So there's no shame in there. Same thing goes to appearance. You know, you shouldn't feel ashamed about the way you look. On the other hand, I made this video reacting to a subreddit called Regretful Parents, link below and up here if you haven't seen it. And one of the moms there confessed she wanted to leave her family. She literally said that she would have done it already. She would have left her kids if society was more accepting of moms who do that, as it is, you know, accepting of men that do it. This thing that was holding her back from leaving her children, it's called shame. And in this case, completely justified. Parents should not abandon their kids. I don't care if you're a mom or a dad, you shouldn't abandon your kid. Shame on her for seriously considering it. And also, I don't think we should be fighting for the equal right of abandoning children at the same rate that men do. That is the dumbest thing I've heard in years. Seriously. It's shameful. And that's what I mean when I say shame is important. Absolutely every single one of us have shameful, bad impulses. It's human nature. You just don't succumb to them. How do you not succumb to them? C.S. Lewis wrote on Mere Christianity that we are not inherently good all the time, at least. We're not good moms, good dads, good friends all the time. Sometimes we just don't feel like it, right? In those cases, the only way forward is to force ourselves to be good, or pretend, as they say. So this is what C.S. Lewis said. Very often, the only way to get equality in reality is to start behaving as if you had it already. That is why children's games are so important. They are always pretending to be grown-ups, playing soldiers, playing shop, but all the time they are hardening their muscles and sharpening their wits so that the pretense of being grown up helps them grow up in earnest. I think that's it. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this video useful. What is one thing that you wish people would be more ashamed of? Comment down below. Subscribe to this channel. I make videos every other week, but in August I'm trying to make videos every Tuesday. We will see. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and hit like. And thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye. How do you not succumb to them? How do you not succumb to them? How do you not succumb to them?